As many of you guys will know, I don't really like ranting about things, but today I want to talk about some major concerns I have regarding Star Wars Hunters, not actually to do with the content in the game itself. I think that hopefully should be absolutely fine, as long as they keep the content consistent throughout each season and keep adding things and making it more engaging and stuff. That should be absolutely fine. But my biggest concerns are actually to do with the community side of things, because at the moment there doesn't seem to be a community manager, or if there is, they're not public, so we have no way of really getting in contact with them. The social media channels are pretty dead, and the Discord server is a bit of a shambles as well. So they're kind of the three things I want to talk about today. But before I do get into it, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you don't miss out on any more Star Wars Hunters videos. But without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Discord. Now I'm going to compare this to Marvel Rivals, which I'll do in just a second, but this is the way the Discord is laid out at the moment. In terms of an overall structure, it's not terrible, but like in game updates, for example, we've not seen anything since even before launch, which is really bizarre. And then for some reason, the streams channel, which actually you can't really see because of this camera, but the streams channel is 2 channels below the videos channel with a Star Wars chat in the middle of them, which, as you can see here, wasn't actually the case a couple weeks ago, but has now changed. I don't really know what's going on there. And then annoyingly, you can't see this, but the feedback channels are just like this: player reporting, feedback, server suggestions, and bug reporting. Now, it's good that they have these channels, absolutely, but they just should, I personally feel that they should be done as forum channels rather than just normal text ones, because things could quite easily get lost. So I feel like if it had a forum page, it would be so much easier to find things, that you can tag them differently and whatnot so that they're easier to find. And I just think it will keep things a lot cleaner. So that would be the way I would like to see this done. But there's also no looking for game channels, there's no voice channels or anything like that. So I've seen a lot of complaints about this already with the Discord server. I think there's a good 3,000 people in this Discord server at the moment, and whilst they do have moderators, I don't think they actually work on the game. Based on what I've been seeing in terms of the way they talk, it seems very sort of corporate, and they're also not hugely active either. So I'm kind of feeling like it's either people who work on the game that are just kind of doing it in their own time, or it's an outsourced Discord server where people aren't really looking at it too much. So that is a bit of a shame. So there have been a few incidents where people have said bad things, and then it just, you know, they unfortunately don't get kicked or banned, whatever, for ages. So I feel like there needs to be a good moderation system. There is an auto mod in the server, but that's pretty terrible as well, because some people have been getting banned for saying one word that isn't even bad and not even directed at someone, but because they've used that word, they get banned, and it's just caused issues. So that, I feel like, needs a big change. The Discord server itself could do with a bit of an overhaul, but also just some active people. Like, you know, this is kind of one of the reasons why I don't think there's a community manager in the game at the moment, because if there was, they'd probably be public on this. And if you have a look at Reddit as well, or even Twitter, social media, there is absolutely nothing about anyone on the game whatsoever. And then if you have a look at Zynga Star Wars Twitter account, I'll go on to Marvel Rivals in a second, you know, you can see that they just post the odd thing here and there. It's like the Hunter guides once every 2 days. They have been quite good in answering people's questions and queries on Twitter, I will say. But apart from that, like, this is kind of all it is. And then it's just like the odd sort of Hunter guide, and they're doing something not very regularly, really. So it's just not hugely engaging. You can see that they're only getting like 500 views per tweet, or, you know, I guess this Hunter guide is a bit better, but, you know, they're not getting a crazy amount of engagement for a Star Wars mobile game, you know. So that to me is quite frustrating. Like, there's just hardly anything on social media, and for a game that's just launched as well, they're just not really screaming out about it, which I feel like they really should be doing. You know, during the Aaron and Amara Clash event as well, there pretty much wasn't too much posted about that either. There might have been the odd tweet here and there saying that it started, yeah, like this is when I think it had started, and that was nice to see, but then that was kind of the only mention of it anyway. They didn't mention who was winning at any point, they didn't say who had won. They did in-game, which is great, but they didn't do it on social media, which, you know, I feel like would be a good way to keep people engaged. And another thing as well is, like, in-game the last few weeks, as you've seen from my recent videos, that there's been things in-game, like actual blog posts going out about how Chaos is messaging Groz and he's going to be coming to the arena, or Balada's signed a new hunter for the arena and stuff like that. It's like, that's a great piece of information and an article, really fun to read in-game. That's great, but they're not even talking about it on social media whatsoever, and it's really, really bizarre to me, because it's a brand new season on the way, and having that pre-engagement hype before a new season starts is really good. Sure, season 1 is still going, say, oh, there's only a week left of season 1, you know, stay tuned for more details on season 2 or whatever, or just, you know, post about the article, say, oh, Groz has been receiving mysterious messages, or oh, Blad has signed a new hunter, check out more in our latest blog post, stuff like that. You know, it's really simple things like that would not take long at all to actually be able to tweet. Like, if there's no community manager or social media manager running these accounts properly, it doesn't really matter too much. As long as someone's got the login for it, someone can tweet that. It takes 5 seconds to do that, you know. And it's frustrating that that's not been done, because it has just launched, so you'd think they'd be tweeting all about it, and they're just not, which is really bizarre. And for a game that got delayed by like 2 years, 2.5 years really, you know, it's just, the soft launch itself was super quiet. The game played great and they were adding some good content when they were getting updates, but social media was just absolutely dead, which I was like, fine, okay, it's soft launch, they don't really want to talk too much about it right now, which is fine. But for a game that's actually out now and live and has been for about 2 months, it just doesn't feel like there's a huge amount of effort going into the social media or the Discord server at the moment as well. So I'm really hoping things change there, because if you have a look at Marvel Rivals, for example, now I appreciate Marvel Rivals isn't a mobile game, this is something for PC, console, whatever, so it's kind of got a bit more of, you know, the market size isn't actually necessarily going to be as big as something like Star Wars Hunters, because mobile market is massive. Marvel Rivals isn't even released yet, it's in beta at the moment, but it's almost on 100k followers to Star Wars Hunters 6k. And they've been tweeting so much about it, like all the new characters, retweeting the voice actors who are playing particular characters in the roster. They've been posting loads of trailers, tweeting all sorts of fan stuff, and it's been like really good. I don't follow Marvel Rivals too much, but I definitely will be playing it when it releases fully. But it's just like, I feel like there's so much going on and so much engagement, so many trailers, art, what have you. Like, there's loads and loads of things that they've been tweeting about. And I've been scrolling now for a little bit, and this is only 2 days ago, you know, they've been tweeting loads and they're getting a lot of engagement. Like this trailer here, 255,000, this 1.1 million, like so much engagement just from Twitter alone. And, you know, Hunters just aren't really utilizing it whatsoever, which again is just so bizarre to me, because you'd think with the Star Wars game, like, it's literally Star Wars, it's the biggest franchise on the planet, and they're not talking about it. And then if you have a look at Marvel Rivals here, now the reason I'm comparing it to Marvel Rivals is because they are a 6 versus 6 battle arena game basically, so it's kind of like Hunters but Marvel. I mean, it's basically just Overwatch with a Marvel skin, but that's not a bad thing. But the Discord server has 300,000 members, which is absurd compared to like Star Wars Hunters 3,000. You know, they've been tweeting a lot, so there's loads of things coming in here. It's a really good setup that they've got going on here. There's some dev blog stuff which you can go and find. So this is the forum page section, which is how you can find things really easily. This is how I want the Hunter server set up regarding feedback. You've got fan art as well, so people can go and find really cool fan art pretty quickly. So again, I think things should be laid out like this. There's dev blogs and all sorts going on here with the Discord server. So I just feel like there's so many things that the community side of things for Star Wars Hunters really needs to improve on. Now, I appreciate that's just been a lot of rants. There's been some, I feel like, useful feedback just from saying, like, look at this, do this more. I also just feel like there needs to be more engagement with getting, like, creators involved, honestly. I just feel like having a creator program is essential, even though they may not seem to be pushing it too hard at the moment. Like when Hunters launched, they sponsored a bunch of creators for videos and maybe the odd stream here and there, I'm not sure. But they made some sponsored posts for videos for creators to put up. But a lot of the creators that they sponsored just probably aren't really going to be playing the game again, or they're not going to be making a huge amount of content on it. I had a sponsored video, which was really awesome, and I'm very grateful for that. And I've obviously been making content on the game for a long time, but I just feel like, again, you know, more needs to be done, because even if there's no community manager at the moment, Zynga will have a massive marketing department as well. So I just feel like there are ways in which they can get creators involved to do this, like give creators like teasers to tweet out about season 2 and then just have the Zynga Star Wars Twitter account retweet it, or get involved somehow. You know, a creator partnerships program thing I just think is an absolute must, and especially they need to focus more on creators who are actually sticking around the game at the moment. Obviously you want some bigger ones as well for, more exposure. Someone like Azatru has been posting the odd video about Star Wars Hunters, so I think he'd be perfect for it. Sammy Boy as well has been posting a lot of Hunters content, so that'd be great. But other people who just, haven't really been posting about it at all, even though they might be Star Wars creators, it's just if they're not going to be posting about the game, it might be best just to not really focus on them too much. Whereas there are plenty of smaller creators like myself, Parallel, and the other guys in the Ultimate Hunters Discord server at least. Like, there's so many small creators up and coming. I just feel like there's a lot of valuable feedback to be made from people who actually really enjoy the game and have been playing it for so long as well. So if there is a community manager for Star Wars Hunters right now, then they really need to come out and be forward facing and just be that point of contact. If not, then hopefully they are in the process of getting one. It's kind of weird that they wouldn't have had one already, but who knows what happens behind the scenes. Maybe they did have one and they don't anymore for some reason. Obviously people move jobs all the time, so I kind of understand things if that's how it happened, but obviously we're never going to be told that. So long story short, social media needs to improve massively. The Discord server needs some improvements, and personally I would love to see a creator program as well for content creators to get more involved in the game, whether that's sponsored videos, sponsored streams, tweets about upcoming content for season 2, little teasers here and there, stuff like that. I just think would be really good. And if anyone at Boss Alien or Zynga or Natural Motion, whoever is working on this game, if you're able to message me about stuff, I've got loads more ideas that I'd love to talk about if you have the time. But that is it from me today, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. I appreciate it was a little bit of a long rant here, but I just think a lot has to be said if this game is to succeed long term, because at the moment I do fear that within 6 months, if they carry on as is, then things will just go down the drain a little bit. Thank you all very much for watching though, and may the force be with you always.